Hello and welcome to Childcare Confidential. I am your host, Jessica Hampton, and this is the lovely Katie Dink.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Today we are talking about when being responsible just isn't fun. And
Oh,
we're going to talk about why we personally are missing out on the legendary Shift conference this week.
oh, I'm still
I
sad.
know, I know. To all of our friends that get to go to Shift this week, have a blast. We are so excited for you, and we are definitely bummed that we are going to miss it. However, our state is just not in good shape right now, and we need to be responsible, even when it's not fun. Oh, so let's talk about what is happening in Indiana. Just a few updates. Last time we had talked about Arkansas, so we want to kind of bring it back to Indiana a little bit for this episode because that's where our schools are located. And we just want to talk about some of the personal things that we have experienced through all of these subsidy cuts going on in Indiana. It is so unfortunate. We get emails weekly of childcare centers closing. I know there are a couple of groups trying to get the data right now for Indiana, but we're kind of in the midst of it still. So everybody's still trying to figure things out. Um, Katie, can you tell us a little bit about maybe how many families total have been affected for us with these subsidy cuts and kind of what it looks like for our schools right now in Indiana?
Yeah, it's super upsetting and actually really frustrating when you look at these families that rely so heavily on the
Mhm.
schools for great care. It's never been an issue for us. We've never had issues filling up. It's been great.
Yeah.
Then the one time it comes down smackdown and everything kind of changes. We did a little bit of research just so we could get actual data to share. And when it just came to the CCDF funding cuts hitting our schools, we lost 23 children between both. That was almost an immediate. Like parents said, I can't do it. I already know this is going to be too much for me. We're backing out. 23. That
And
hit
that is the
heavy.
parents that like we had talked to and said, we're going to try some scholarships. We're going to try to help with what we can, but we also don't want to put these fees onto our cash paying parents, which is basically what the state is asking us to do because the money has to come from somewhere, right?
A
But we
lot
don't
of
think
money.
that that's ethical, believe it or
No,
not.
no.
Um, so we can't do that. So these families that immediately cut, we're going, even if you can offer us this, we can't afford to pay anything more than what we're already doing. So we just have to pull. How sad.
Well, and the biggest piece of that too, and I think what people don't realize, because we even have people that will comment on our like social media platforms that we post, and they're like, people should have to pay money. Well, no duh, we totally
Right,
agree.
right.
But the majority of these families already had a copay. They were already
Yes.
paying like $100 a week. But adding, if you have 3 children, you're already paying $100 copay so that all three of those kiddos can have quality childcare.
Mhm.
You're now adding like $30 to $60 in addition to that per child. That is why it's so extreme and why it's so unfortunate and almost impossible to be able to pull. Is because they're already
Right.
paying the money. They're not just going for free. There's no just freebies. They're
Yeah.
paying.
Yeah. And so they're heartbroken because they know the importance of early childhood for their children, at least the families in our school do,
Yeah.
because we make sure to support them and let them know and inform them of what early childhood really should be in America, which unfortunately our whole country is lacking. Not as much as Indiana, but
Indiana's
it's
really
out there.
struggling.
Indiana's all sorts of special with our lacking of funding.
But the
Um,
the other piece that I just find so super interesting, and I have to like give such props to the families that we do have, the ones who pulled immediately, right? Like knew it wasn't gonna work, pulled, left us the most beautiful reviews, and they
yeah,
were
they did.
so heartbroken that they had to go. They weren't mad at us, they were mad at the situation, but they still took time to like give us a shout out saying how great we were, and if they could still afford it, they'd still be here. That speaks
Absolutely. And
volumes.
we were heartbroken too. I mean, in early childhood, we talk a lot about transitions and We want to make sure continuity of care, and we're making sure that what's best for the child's mental health and physical well-being and everything to make a well-rounded child. And we talk about consistency as key. These families were shattered, like raked over the coals, told they have to pay way more. And it's everything that early childhood goes against. Let's pull these kids out with no notice.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Two
Out,
weeks for you to get your life together.
out of the situation that they're already in. And I don't know about you, but working paycheck to paycheck, like, you don't have time to sit there and come up with a whole plan sometimes. You're trying to feed kids and put food on the table and get all the homework done that night.
And that's enough. That's enough to stress you out to the core.
Cannot believe it.
Oh.
So we have all these kiddos that immediately got cut, and we were able to help some of our families. I think we had a total of 43 families that were affected, 43 children that were affected.
Yes.
Now, every child on CCDF wasn't affected. So when we first did this, we had, pretty sure, over 100 children on the program.
Yeah.
43 of those children were highly affected. But we had some infant toddler children that didn't get as affected, or it was manageable.
Yes.
So when you're
100%.
raising $10 a week, that's manageable. When you're raising hundreds of dollars a week, that's just insane.
Like 150.
We're in
is
Indiana,
like
why
average.
not?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
It's fine. You can figure it out. Families can figure it out.
Yeah. So this has happened. Like, Indiana did not listen to its, essential childcare providing field. That's what we are, essential. They've forgotten, apparently. They like to work us to death while we were during COVID, but now that it's over, they forgot that they deemed us essential during that.
Not essential anymore.
Yeah, it's gotta love it. But hey, our profession, education, not important, apparently. Sorry, going on a tangent. You know me and how passionate I get about doing things correctly.
Yes, she does. She does do that.
I really, really do. So I think it's important to do things with integrity and passion and do them correctly. And this was definitely one of those things in Indiana that was not done thoughtfully. Let's put it that way. But since then, we've recently gotten an email from Mr. Adam Olson with our Monday, what is it called? The Monday Must Know. Kitty, you want to tell us about that email?
Yeah, I do. I love it so much. All right. So my favorite is when you wake up, Monday, you go to school, work, you get ready for a great day, a great week of childcare. You're going to put your all into it. And then you get this really great, what would you call that? Passive aggressive email, I would say.
There seems to be a lot of that kind of going around from Indiana's ranking officials, it seems, at least in my opinion.
Ooh, okay. So, love it. So this one came through and says that there is 3 giant issues, right? 3. That's it, though. They only could find 3 in this whole situation. Over-enrollment of families on the CCDF vouchers for 2023 and 2024. Over-enrollment. Pretty sure you have to go through like a whole slew of things to be able to qualify for it. So I don't know if over-enrollment or a very big need maybe should be your wording for that.
Yeah, it seems that, though, when the economy starts to go down, the need for assistance may go up. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that? Yeah, it's crazy. And the other big issue, because there's only 3. Inflated reimbursement rates that exceeded the true cost of care. Oh, I'm so glad you know what the true cost of care is to raise these tiny humans to their fullest and best potential. Tell me more about how that measures up for you. I hate
to tell you, but it's definitely not $61 a week for a school-age child.
School-agers.
That was a crock. $61 a week. I charged more than that when I had my in-home, and I didn't have all the overhead.
Well, they think because
not
they're
as
older,
much anyway.
They're older, so they don't need as much.
Oh,
wrong.
No.
Wrong. They're more bored.
School age. Come visit us and hang out in school age room. We invite you in. Come visit us. We'll show you how school age is really working. If you're not keeping them busy and active and have a plan, which takes time and education and teachers that care, which would be our high quality, which we have to pay for because who can work for free? Nobody.
It's all right. We'll just get a
And
$61 teacher. It's
yeah,
fine.
so we
Okay.
won't. We'll close down before we do that. But
It's just a
that's
jokesy,
not
Jess.
happening
It's just a
either.
jokesy. Okay.
We will not do that.
And then their third issue, because again, how many were there? Only three. This whole situation, there's only three big issues. It's fine. No sustainability plan after the $1.27 billion federally funding ended in late 2024. Whose problem does that sound like, Jess? Because I don't think it sounds like an us problem.
Yeah. So if there was such a bad management of money, which is basically what I am understanding that Adam Olson and like the government, the team is saying there was such a misuse of finances during COVID. That's why we have to go back to this. And there's only one lump sum of money. I understand only having one lump sum of money. Believe it or not, I'm actually pretty financially savvy, which is why I run my childcare center the same way. And we are a cash only operation, not meaning that we only take cash. Don't get me wrong, because we don't, but meaning that we don't have a ton of loans out. We don't have that extra stuff. So that's going to help us get through this disaster that Indiana is in. But that is not my fault. That is not my problem. You need to fix it.
Oof.
I was responsible with my money and my budget, and I hired the people we needed to, and we got the things that we needed to. There was no overinflation over here. We
But they want it
paid
to
for
sound
what we
like it
needed to.
was. No, that
Exactly.
we're going to put it on the blame of all the providers. We're not going to take any
Yeah.
accountability as
How
a
about
state.
we're thankful that our teachers, in majority of Indiana, teachers were still starting at $9, $10 an hour before COVID. How about we're thankful that now they're starting at 12 or 13 a lot of places, 14, 15 some places. Just depends on where they're at, but like let's be realistic. We can't go back to $9 an hour. And
Well,
they're
they
trying to
think we can.
say, right. And they are trying to say that they have not raised the vouchers, were only raised 35% or something.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're talking about since pre-COVID. We were already up for a rate increase at COVID. They were already supposed to be working on raising rates for subsidy. So do not come back here and say that it's 35%. No, no, no. That was like, what, 10 years ago?
A hot minute.
I don't know if anybody's looked around, but inflation has happened. I pay more for gas. I pay more for groceries. In fact, our food for the childcare center costs have doubled like everywhere else.
Yeah. And
And
there's
now
nothing you
you're
can do to
taking
maintain it.
away income? How does this make sense? Make it make sense.
I don't know that it's going to.
So, unfortunately,
That wasn't
Indiana's just not listening.
that they are not. But unfortunately, also, Jess, that wasn't all to our wonderful email. There's more. I know she's really excited. If you're not watching the
The
facials, you should because Jess's are my
facials are
favorite.
great.
Yes.
We have a
Okay.
conversation. It's all right here.
So after they go through and tell us only the three giant issues, only the three, because as if there's not more, it continues on with CCDF vouchers remain fully funded for currently enrolled families. With no new
Oh.
enrollments expected through 2026 unless additional state or federal funding becomes available somehow.
So they've already told us no new vouchers till 2027.
Correct.
So that's what they're talking about there at the end. However, if you put it out there, it's got to be truth, right?
Of course.
Especially when you are in a government position, I would say.
I would say so too.
I beg to differ with that statement. Do
Why is
you?
that? Why is that? What's wrong with it?
Well, we did some fact checking on our end before we came on because we like to make sure that if we're giving you information, it is as accurate as possible.
Mm-hmm.
We are still human, but we do try to fact check everything and use sources and stories that can be shared. And he said that something about there's no more cuts.
Yeah, all
No.
vouchers remain fully funded for currently enrolled families.
Well, since the COVID or since the CCDF cuts and everything happened,
Hmm.
right? And we got through that, we made it through the first round of our pay really sucks now and we're going to survive this and all the things. Um then we had 13 children go for their renewals. Guess what happened, Katie? You know what happened.
What happened?
They didn't get renewed. What?
That's crazy. But they said they were going to.
I'm pretty sure that email says that everything's okay now. What did they
Do
do instead? Like why didn't they get renewed? What happened?
well, from the parents' perspective, because of course we asked them, like, oh
Mhm.
my goodness, that's such a shock. You thought everything was okay. And they're like, honestly, I have no idea. So, being the good Samaritans we are, we'll help them do a little digging, figure it out.
Mhm.
Turns out that if you make over, you can make a difference of $25 from the cutoff to where you qualify, and anything in between. Like if you go over that, you're automatically kicked off. Some of these families that got like overtime bonus money added to their paycheck pushed them just far enough to kick them off completely. Do you think they got a heads up? No, they
No.
didn't.
No, they didn't get a heads up. And you know what? That's really unfortunate because a family that's getting a bonus right before Christmas should be a good thing and we should be excited for them, right?
Yes, you would think.
You would think they'd look at paychecks like longevity and that they should be able to show like, hey, it was a bonus, it was this, but that's just not the way it works,
No, they just want your
unfortunately.
most recent 30-day pay stubs. And if somehow
Mhm.
that falls in line with your renewal, which if you're a family or a parent and you're renewing, as soon as you get those reauthorization paperwork and packets, do it. Do it almost
Oh,
immediately. Do
absolutely.
not
Make
wait.
sure your school knows, take it in right away. Schools cannot, let me repeat, schools cannot fill those out on the spot for you.
Say it
We
louder.
get asked all the time, and we tell our families they have to drop it off in the morning and we'll get it back to them by the next day. Um, because we are on the move in the buildings. I swear there are days I don't even go to the bathroom until I would leave because you are on the move. We cannot sit there and think right then to fill those out for you. I apologize. So please, when you get them, just take them in. Get it done immediately so you're not stressed about it and coming in and going, but I have to have it today. And we're going, your lack of urgency does not make it my urgency.
Yeah, no,
You
no.
know, like,
Yeah.
so please, please, please do that if you're a parent listening. But these families, from my understanding, would not have been cut from the program if they did not increase the limits, even with the bonus checks or
Yeah.
even
But it's not so much, I think, not
the
increasing.
family, I guess
It's
we're talking
yeah,
about.
they're changing the amount that you can qualify for,
Mhm.
and they're changing it just slightly enough to where it's really putting some of these parents in a predicament. It's not like you could make $2,000 a month and now you can only make 1,900. It's like you make $2,000 a month, have qualified, and now if you make like 1,990, like that's gonna trigger you not being able to afford or qualify for it. Like that's unfair
Mm.
and that's insane.
That's very unfair. But that's the way we're rolling with this whole thing. And honestly, I gotta say, well, I got a lot to say. We all know that. We all know that. Um, but I have to say, for me, because I do a lot of financially savvy things and I make sure that our schools are good and I make sure that we pay cash for things and that we afford what we can afford and we don't go beyond that. And when we can, we invest it back into our families and our community and we enjoy doing those things. So I get one lump sum of money, like I really do, because that's how I've always functioned, even personal life and business life. However, for me, it's how this has all been done.
I agree.
It's just so shady. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion, but it is so shady the way it has all been done. Because if you look back, now that we're sitting here looking back, I'm going, they planned this all along. They knew what they were doing, but failed to inform anyone else.
They knew what they were going to get
I
for even opening their
just,
mouths.
right. But that does not excuse the fact that they didn't say anything sooner.
Right.
It's
I
like
agree.
that employee that you need to fire and you just keep waiting until it's too late or something,
Yeah.
and it has to happen.
It's the inevitable.
Stop waiting and inform people of what needs to be done. If you are a leader, you have a decision to make the decision and let's go. But you can do it respectfully,
With grace.
with grace, with notice, and honestly, excuse my language, not make shitty comments all over the news that are going to piss off early childhood educators. What are you thinking? That's not the way I would run this personally.
I don't
And
disagree.
I hope that whatever happens, they figure it out because that is not the way any leadership training would tell you to do this that I've ever attended. But to talk about the timeline a little bit. So, right before the CCDF cuts, Indiana had a huge staffing problem. We could not get staff for like the last year everywhere. It wasn't one school, it wasn't the other, even though they tried to blame each other like somebody's doing something better or worse than the other school. No, everybody had issues. Don't even try to act like you didn't. It was rough, at least every county around us,
Yeah.
shall I
Indiana was
say.
rough.
Yes. And so to help retain staff into our field after COVID had kind of, demolished it and a lot of people left, Indiana came up with this idea that childcare workers that are working in Indiana can jump the line for subsidy because Indiana is going to make sure that they get priority to help us keep families or to keep employees in our schools. We had a couple people apply. They didn't really see that happen. Apparently, a big wait list happened instead.
It sure did.
They never really saw anything from that, but we were real excited about it for a minute.
For a minute.
Yeah, but they knew we've got to try to get staff here. This is a way to do it. So they're setting us up for that. And then it's, now we're going to have to lay off staff. So they basically screwed us with the whole thing. But anyway, so then they do that. And then we keep moving down the line, and then all of a sudden, Indiana decides it's going to change its laws from going from being able to provide care in your home and not be licensed or regulated in any way.
None.
In Indiana. You could do that with 5 unrelated children. Now, Indiana says you can do that with 7.
Woo!
7. Do you know, a little bit of research, that is the highest ratio of children that can be watched in any state in America?
Way to go, Indiana.
Without being regulated or licensed.
I don't know how they're not more petrified about the lack of regulation. And that, what you just said, just the lack of regulation.
The lack of regulation. We are taking 10-year steps back right now, and people don't even realize it.
No,
Indiana, cool. I got more.
Oh,
it
good.
keeps going.
Good.
There's so much.
I'm not happy. This is not
it kills
good.
me when I get going on a tangent like this, guys. Oh, it's hard to get me off. Let me find my thing, though. Where was it? Let me tell you.
She is on a tangent.
I am on a tangent. It's hitting.
In real life.
It is hitting. Yeah, this is really just, I'm really big about integrity and doing things correctly and making things make sense. This doesn't make sense. We are sitting on money in Indiana. And instead, we're going to do some redistricting because that's what's important right now, not childcare, apparently.
It's not. What?
But I lost it. Oh, okay. Before before all of this happened, with the subsidy cuts in Indiana. So this survey was done before the cuts happened, but it is NIER's quality benchmarks, and that's NIEER quality benchmarks. And so it does a survey for early childhood schools, and it looks for like things for high quality, like degree teachers, low
Mm-hmm.
staff to child ratios, vision and hearing screenings,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things. And then also serves a significant population for their 4-year-olds, because everybody that knows about early childhood knows the importance of having pre-kindergarten, and some states are really supporting that right now, and it's
Yes.
amazing.
Indiana as well.
um Indiana, however, y'all, before CCDF cuts, we ranked 43 out of 50 states on quality childcare and
All
early
right.
childhood.
Woo!
43. Hey, Katie, what do you think we rank now?
Is there a negative option?
I mean, Wyoming.
Sorry, Wyoming.
Apparently they're 50. Wyoming, it's okay though. We understand because I think we may have knocked you out of 50th and taken over for you. But don't worry, because our great Governor Braun, love him, he has informed us that Indiana's school system is doing so fabulous.
So fabulous.
And he compared it to Florida. Y'all
Ooh,
know
that's
where
kind of
Florida
funny.
ranks?
Where's Florida?
46.
Oh, good. Good.
Again, Governor Braun, just my opinion. But if I were you, I would do some investigating before you tell educators that you're following Florida's systems. Love you, Florida. I really do, because I'm a resident there now and I love you. But my kiddo's going to a charter school because it is rough in Florida. Do not compare things that you do not know about.
Or just make
Ask,
it up on a
ask
whim.
for advice from maybe an early childhood educator. Believe it or not, a lot of us are degreed and professionals and essential. We'd
Oh,
be happy to help.
the trifecta. I like
The
that.
trifecta.
The trifecta.
So, all that to say, this is rough. It's rough in Indiana. It really stinks that we are not with our friends at Shift this week.
Yeah.
We made the call not to go because we felt that that was irresponsible with everything that our staff is facing here at home in Indiana. So we are going to be watching your pictures. We are going to be watching everything. So go live. Tell us how it's going. Shoot us some messages. We will definitely miss you. We just know for our team, and unfortunately for the state of Indiana right now, we needed to stay back and show them that they're not the only one getting hit. They're not the only one taking cuts, but we are too. We're making changes, doing what we have to do. But when you get hit with your budget being cut $572,000 with a 3 weeks notice for the
Not
year,
even. Not
you
even
have
three.
to cut things like shift, unfortunately. We've made a lot of other cuts too. We've canceled like our cleaning services, our maintenance services, things that we can cut and still have quality care. However, who has to do those jobs when they get cut? Yeah, our staff. So
We
the
do
staff that's
it.
already been overworked because we were understaffed for so long, the staff that's already been through being essential from COVID, the staff that's tired and getting pay cuts and layoffs, that's who now has to do the cleaning and the maintenance and all the other things, the snow removal, because we had to cut those things from our budget to make sure the kids had quality care.
And we didn't get a say. That's the part that I hate the most.
Yeah.
If you would have just asked us and been like, okay, educators everywhere, what are some areas that you think maybe we could downsize to make it so
Yeah.
it all made sense? Like, I could at least accept that.
And don't ask us in a coded survey where you're trying to get everybody's income, because you know nobody answered that survey. And we called and told you why. So it's none of your business, actually. But I can tell you right now that I'm not taking a paycheck because what's important to me are the kids and my staff in that building. So thanks, Adam Olson and Governor Braun, for your excellence in early childhood education. As one early childhood educator, I am sadly disappointed.
Boom.
That's it.
That is it.
It's they're not going to change things and they're not going to hear. We're going to keep fighting. They're going to have no choice eventually to hear, even if they want to put their calls to go straight to voicemail or not answer people on days that we decide to call in to let them know how we feel. We're going to keep going. So we'll keep fighting because the kids are important and they're important to us. And that's all we can do.
You mean we're actually going to choose the children if we
Hmm.
had to choose?
Yeah. Who would have thought? I mean, do people not think before they speak?
No,
Seriously.
they don't.
Sometimes. And I have been guilty of that as well. However, you don't continue to do it when you realize,
You got to learn.
you know,
I.
sometimes you just got to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Unfortunately, we're missing our friends this week. But we're going to keep here and keep fighting in Indiana, and we hope that you'll keep joining us. I know there will be some important causes coming up. There's going to be a day without childcare coming up that we cannot wait to tell you about
Yes.
next year. So stay tuned. Help us fight the great fight, and let us know what's going on in your state. We've joined some different social media groups and chatting with people, so it's very interesting. But we'd love to have some different people on and from different states and kind of talk about what's happening in your states. That's all I have for now. Thanks for watching, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye. Have a great week.